Welcome everyone to Dr. Thor here, and I wanted to show you a rare book which is available for free online at archive.org. And I will leave a link to it at the underneath this video. Now, we've heard a lot of different information about psychic discoveries behind the Iron Curtain, a famous book out there. I believe it came from the 70s. That talked about all the Eastern European psychic research that was being done. What we rarely hear about is actually the psychic research that is being done in China and has been done for many years. And there was a book published which used to be very difficult to obtain and used to sell for a few $100s by Paul Dong. Who is an excellent author on Chinese energy and psychic topics, and seems to have a good grasp of the subject matter and understanding. And I'm going to be reviewing a couple of his books, but what's nice is this Chinese super psychics is, as I said, readable and downloadable online from archive.org, archive.org. As I said, I'm going to put a link down below. Now, the amazing things that the Chinese were researching here is just mind-blowing when you start reading this book. The different types of research, what was done. Now, one of the problems with all of these things when you're dealing with any kind of authors or this kind of information is how good is it and what is the source of it, etc. And like most authors and so forth, here's your the table of contents. You got China's super psychics, Professor Ixen supports psychic research. China's psychic research, the first stage. China's psychic research, second stage. Third stage, the miracle of a particular doctor's work. The first psychic war between China and Japan. The connection between Qigong and psychic phenomena. And then, of course, it talks about the research they did with children, how to create the third eye, modern goddess of mercy, how China's skeptics took advantage of American observers, psychics of Taiwan, because Taiwan technically is not part of mainland China, even though they are Chinese there. So it also has a foreword from Karen S. Kramer, PhD, a famous psychic researcher. So this is an amazing book. And of course, I could spend hours, which nobody cares about, going and talking about some of the amazing things. One of the amazing things they talk about, which I've never heard of, is exporting. Meaning psychics were able to remove things from people instead of, as well as putting them in. So, or I don't know if it was people, or I think it was animals, but they were able to implant certain items in animals and then psychically remove them. This is quite fascinating, and the reality is this entire area of study is neglected. And it's a crime against humanity as we rely on toxic drugs that cost an awful lot of money. I've heard ridiculous amounts of money that some people are paying monthly. A person in Holland claimed that her cancer drugs cost $25,000 a month to take. Well, this is kind of mind-boggling. And I'm assuming those drugs are very cheap. And of course, nobody really does anything to control this. These are crimes against humanity that you can live if you can pay. How sweet. Is that part of the religious doctrine that we get from all them? Peace, love is out there. Oh, to love God. So as we go on here, and here's a little picture here of Paul Dong himself. I don't believe he's still alive, but it is possible. I'm not sure. Certainly these books were written many years ago, and he was based in the San Francisco Bay Area and did some work up there. and put together some really nice books. I like his attitude in general. I think he is real. He also did the famous Empty Force book. The Empty Force book is the one that's supposed to be able to build chi, and then you project it at someone to send the energy to them. Now, this is all real. It's not easy. But the Empty Force book, I don't believe, is a real system. It's about standing still for hours and hours, building your chi, and then you're able. But this is a very impractical system. And as he even states in that book, which is typical of all cultures, but if people think that there is some sort of innate racism in so-called Caucasians, well, you're pretty wrong. There's innate racism, everything. Haitian voodoo practitioners are not going to share their secrets with others. Nobody shares their secrets. And people don't understand that secrets are kept forever. Do we know what the real formula for Coca-Cola is? Well, this is, again, kept pretty secret. We can make copies and be close, but we don't know the exact. Even with Kentucky Fried Chicken, the 7 herbs and spices are not known by the general public, even though, again, you can kind of copy. But those are just kind of ridiculous examples. But in general, the reason why we don't see so many demonstrations, photographs, or anything else of people doing amazing things, even though there is a lot of this, and it is suppressed. There was a British TV series where the guy went around the world, something that I'd love to do, and filmed people that had extraordinary abilities, particularly in the chi area. And these are quite amazing. And we've seen this with guys like Guy Savali, who taught the Special Forces. And we have film, which is on YouTube, by the way, people, Guy Savali, who has died recently, or maybe it's not that recent, who taught the Special Forces, otherwise known as the Green Berets, without using a lot of the Oriental mumbo jumbo, which is, spending your life doing things, spending hours developing chi, of how to be able to take hits from 2x4s and steel bars. As I said, you can look at those and how they demonstrated this all with simple mental techniques. And Guy Savali was just kind of a common person, just an Italian guy from, I believe, where was it? The Midwest somewhere, and who was a Christian on top of it. So all he did was simple mental techniques, and he was able to master these things. Unfortunately, we have very little information on these people, and they're never researched properly. We do have films of his, and there's other people that have abilities. All of these people are slowly dying off, and there is mediocre records of them, and they're done kind of very poorly. Really a crime against humanity when we're facing extinction as a race. If nothing else, nobody has money to pay for anything. People, 70 or 80% of Americans have medical debt. This is horrendous. And we need things that can keep us stronger and better and develop as better humans. And if we're sick and disabled, we become a burden on society, and you don't think right, and you become corrupt. So it goes on and on of what's going on. But I've always been impressed by Paul Dong's work. He has another great book, which I'll be reviewing soon, on Qi Kong. And, a lot of this stuff is not simple. It's not easy to do. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of time. And this is one of the major problems with Asian systems. And no matter what it is, you're going to have to put hours and hours of practice in, and there's no way around it. Well, that's part of life. You want to learn how to code computers. You want to learn how to do most of anything. You want to learn how to tune a radionic instrument in the old-fashioned way. You're going to have to put a lot of hours in. You're going to have to invest time, money, and you're going to have to train yourself. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that to a degree. I believe that the Asians tend to overstress this and spend hours and hours every day, which I don't even think is possible in Western society. And I'm not sure it's possible in Asian society anymore. If you're not hustling your butt in China, you will starve to death. So it all depends on the reality that you live in and the kind of support you have. Some of that is a little better now, where people seem to have some time off, but it becomes a problem. They do like everybody else does. They move in with mommy and daddy and live off of them to have free time. But what we're really looking at, what I'm looking at myself personally, is the fact that, see if we can get a single page here, is the fact that, not too clear, is the fact that how can we use these techniques in a simple, effective, and quick manner, meaning spending 10 minutes or so doing some exercises, so we're at a much higher level to project those energies, those scalar energies, into our scalar radionic devices. So that really is the future. Manifesting machines are the future, and they will take your raw energies. But what you put into something is what you get out. It's an old saying, junk in, junk out. But if you're using a manifesting machine, and everybody will eventually have a handheld one like we even offer today, to amplify everything, you still need to make sure you have clear, potent projections. You're creating a scalar thought form that then is unstoppable and can be amplified and projected at a target so that you can affect change in that particular target, or create an energy field around yourself so you draw that to you. So how do you do this at a higher level? Now, the problem is people don't want to do any practices, and this is where the laziness comes in. So this is a serious problem. And that's, of course, we all want to use tech. We want to get right to the meat of everything. We don't want to particularly spend time constantly practicing. Here's one of the publications that their researchers did. And, you know, this lists a whole bunch of Chinese research that's done in this entire area. One of the problems is, of course, a lot of this stuff is not in English. So it's very difficult to research this. But he seems to have done a very good job in researching. And he does list all his sources. And as he said, what is stated here is mind-blowing. And as I said, you really have to read this for yourself. But apparently they did a lot of psychic research. One of the problems with communism in general, and people think that communists are open to this because it's not religious. Well, it's considered mysticism. That was the big problem with Russia, is that Russia did not allow psychic research until, I believe, was it Stalin who actually became ill and a psychic cured him? And then they opened up the research in that area. Very interesting. But before that, it was considered a bunch of hocus pocus religious fantasy nonsense. And the same thing was true in China for a lot. Don't think that they're open to all that kind of mysticism. They consider this Western nonsense. So you do have to be careful of what you think is going on there. But again, they've also, from what I understand from some people in China, is that they're industrializing acupuncture and all this kind of stuff, sanitizing it, and creating a state-based system instead of the classical Chinese systems, which tend to be family-based, individual-based, who pass secrets on to generations. So just making a book saying, well, here is psychic stuff, and this is what we're going to allow, is one of those things that becomes a serious problem. Because you get everything turns to vanilla. You lose the power of the individual. And, you know, the actual Chinese systems, whether it's martial arts or anything else, tend to be family systems. They're not general systems. So you pass this down through your family and it becomes your personal family system. This is something that is kind of unknown to Westerners because they have very bad family structures generally. So they don't tend to pass things down, particularly systems like this, as a general rule. I've never heard of that, but of course, you know, there is the, like in every organization, where the fact is that if you're involved in something, it means that you probably, you can get some of these things, pass on to your family. So if you're an actor, your son becomes an actor, your daughter becomes, this is quite common going into trades. Now, I'm not really sure what all that means, in terms of passing on. But I'm assuming that if you're an actor and and your children become actors, that you're passing on your acting tips as well. We can see right here, it looks like that's that's Paul Dong himself using Qi to push people back. At the San Francisco College of Acupuncture, where he studied. He taught for many, many years there. As I said, I'm not sure if he's still alive. It's difficult. I can't find anything on him. They go into how psychic children of China and their training. So we don't really know what's going on. You got to remember, this kind of stuff is very, very secretive. They don't go out and advertise this. As I said, there is a certain negativity to this kind of stuff as being very mystical, which communism doesn't believe in. So we'll just have to see how that manifests. But certainly, here's a very interesting chapter 10, How to Create the Third Eye. Now, this is a very excellent chapter to create the third eye. This is where you activate your higher senses. So, a great chapter. Again, this is all free. Just go there and get it while it's still available. Download this book and read it at your leisure. I think it's difficult to get physical copies of this. I remember years ago, I bought a physical copy about 20 years ago, and they were selling for $150. Now, again, thanks to certain organizations like Archive, you get the entire book here for free. And you can read it online. You can go there, or you can download it into a PDF. So it really makes things easy to do on something that's very difficult to get. So do definitely check this out. And the information here is just fascinating, of the type of empowerments that people have, and the amazing research that was done. Again, proving all these things, proving that this works. And again, I'm interested, and we'll be coming out with booklets and so forth, teaching people how to do different simplified techniques that you can then use with your Scaltronics machine. The key is to make things powerful beyond just you. You got to remember, they're not using any kind of tech here. The point is you should be using amplification tools, specially designed and transmutated electronics to pick up these energies, amplify it, and broadcast it to yourself or to a particular target. And this can be done 24 hours a day almost. And this is the new reality, the new manifesting technology that's coming out there. We have this equipment available now, and of course we have handheld units that we're going to be coming out with as well. Lots of stuff is available so that you can actually get ahead in the world, which you're going to need. We're going into very tough times, people, and those who have the edge are going to be those who prosper and succeed. Those that don't, regardless of your training, your skills, you're going to fall behind, because the empowered person is going to win. I hope you enjoyed this. Well, here we go with a little bit on Paul Dong. Let's see if we can pull this up a wee bit. Get to that page. Here we go. Was that it? Paul Dong is an internationally known writer and editor in the fields of unexplained and paranormal phenomena. He was born in Canton, China in 1928. That would make him 70, 80, 95 now if he's still alive. He is now an American citizen, resides in Oakland, California with his wife and children. He is actively engaged in journalism and scientific research. Since 1976, he's been a Qigong instructor at the San Francisco YMCA and the San Francisco College of Acupuncture. He's also an avid researcher into psychic and paranormal. Dong has close ties with the Chinese scientific circles and is editor-in-chief of the Journal of UFO Research, a bi-monthly magazine published in mainland China with a circulation of 300,000. As a journalist, he has published articles in Hong Kong, Japan, Germany, England, and the U.S. His article, Mainland Mystery, was published in May of 1981 in Omni. In addition to articles, he's the author of the four major mysteries of mainland China, Qigong, Empty Force, etc. His co-author, Tom Raffil, a native of Oakland County, Florida, is a translator and consultant who has worked in international matters for government and private business since '87. He has been a student of Gong in the meditative practice of Qigong. A graduate of the University of California at Berkeley, he is fluent. He is fluent in Chinese, Japanese, and Russian languages and has traveled extensively in the East, including China, Japan, and Russia for research purposes. Mr. Raffil practices Qigong every day and uses it for self-healing, self-development, and he has witnessed many demonstrations of mysterious energies and convinced of its potential for healing. So these are all the things that don't cost you anything and things that we all should be practicing. It is pretty, and here we go, the back of the actual physical book. It is interesting that this his co-author seems to be also quite a person, even fluent in Russian, which, of course, is the other area of psychic research. And we're going to talk about that because you can get the book Behind the Psychic Secrets Behind the Iron Curtain. You can get Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. You can get for free as well. So definitely, this is something that any serious researcher and student should read. It's fun, it's fascinating, and it's free. Until next time.